So, okay, go ahead.
So when I was training a new nurse, I would always ask them why they became a nurse. And I've had nurses tell me things that happened to them that stirred a passion in them, and they decided they wanted to pursue a nursing career. I've had other people tell me it was just because of the money, because you know, there is certainly a good paycheck to be had in a career in nursing. But I would encourage them that you can do it for a while, but if your heart ain't in it,
That's
you
it.
ain't gonna be a nurse long.
Mm-hmm. And
Because
that's,
the money won't pay for the input in being a really good nurse. You can't be paid for it because it exceeds, it's got to come from in here. And if they don't, you're just going through the motions.
right.
And patients are smart. They know who cares and who just going through the motions.
Mm-hmm. And that's how God is. He knows that when we are in a position to bring him the things that he ordered, but he said, but when you do it and it's coming from your heart, only somebody can pay you is me. The only somebody can tip you. It ain't nobody on earth that can tip you like I can. Woo!
My goodness.
My
Look
goodness.
at God.
My God. Yeah, that thing is good. And then he said, come before his presence with singing. Come before his presence as humble as a child who don't care what you think I sound like. And when
I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah, when we come before God like a child who has no, you know, a little child. And we're not talking about, you know, when you get big enough to learn how to be shy and embarrassed.
Yeah.
But when you come as a
just
child,
like my granddaughter, I was telling you, just like that. She don't have a care in the world.
And then it's okay to come to God as a child because you're in an attitude, but if I didn't do it right, you can be easily corrected and you okay with that. Exactly. And he said, come before my presence. Have a song in your mouth. I love it when my mama used to get up and sing every morning. And I heard songs in my house. And my son Michael, when Michael's in the house, he sings so much you just know that's the way he operates.
Right.
And I think that, and then he has this servant attitude. It's just something about singing and serving at the same time. It's just a pleasure for you to, not only is it a pleasure of you waiting on me, but it's a pleasure for me to be waited on by you or to be served by you. It's just all together, God. All of that singing and all of
it's a reciprocal.
It's what?
Singing while you work, some kind of little song way back. It's reciprocal. When you are happy in God and that happiness brings a song, you're blessed. It's like doing what he told you to do, so you're obedient. But in being also blessed, just have in your spirit.
You're going out.
I said, even when you're singing, you're happy and you're singing because you're happy. God is pleased because you're obeying. You're benefited because singing has a way of lifting your spirit. I have been in pain, hurting, and I'll just start singing. Yes, Lord. And before I know it, I forgot about how I was feeling. It moved me. It got me from one place to the next.
And you know what?
Reciprocal. That's what I meant by reciprocal.
That reciprocal means, and I'm just saying that for somebody who may not know the meaning. I know you know the meaning. That means we become one. Because if I got one half, and I said, give me the reciprocal over there, that's 2 over 1. And if you multiply, it's 2 over 2, which is equivalent to being 1. And that's what it's a reflection of you are. It's just I'm doing my part and you plug it in like a piece of puzzle, and we coming together, and we all, and it fits jointly together. It's just become one. And that's
Man,
because when I got good
man,
service,
Psalm 100 is the bomb.
huh? What'd you
I
say?
said Psalm 100 is the bomb.
Girl, I ain't never
Psalms
ate Psalm
100 is the bomb.
I'm telling you, I've never opened up the word and studied it, because that's one of those Psalms where people just automatically say, but he said, but don't do me like that. Don't just be so familiar with me that you don't study me. Go, this time around. I can imagine what we're gonna do when we learn his other things, and then we add this is just awesome. I love it. When you talk about that food critic. And then this next verse said, know ye that the Lord, he is God. I looked up the word know. I didn't just simply run across that word. He said, to know me is to recognize my quality. To know me is to recognize my quality. In other words, when you see something made by God, you can say, oh, that's made by God. I know his handiwork. I know his logos. I know his quality. I know the material that he puts in the stuff that he puts in. He said,
that's that's the difference between knowing of somebody and actually having an intimate relationship with that somebody.
Right.
I can know of somebody, but I don't really know them. I know of them. I know their name when I hear it. Oh, yeah. I used to work with them, but but I don't know you like the person married to you.
Right. Know ye is, and I wrote that down. How do we know he is God? We know it by studying and being intimate with him. I wrote that down. He commanded us to know him. And then I looked up the word know, and it said to recognize his quality. Yeah. Know when my hand is on, know when somebody's speaking and they talking like the word. Know when somebody is acting like me. Know me so well that you can identify me in somebody. Rather than just they talking. No. To know me, I recognize I recognize his work. I recognize his handiwork. I know that's God. Around him. Yeah, that's powerful. And then he said, it is he that has made us. He said, let me tell you something. I take full responsibility for what I created. I ain't shrinking back. I made you. I don't know nobody else, God, that can say, I declare I made you. You got to be bold to say that. Because look at, God could be ashamed of us.
Yeah.
And he could look at us, but he said, I don't care what condition you in, I made you. And my expectations of what I made in you, that's what I see. Why don't you get in my word and see yourself the way I see you? Yeah. Know that I made you. You got it. This is something that you got to know and recognize my quality. When I made you good. I made you out of quality stuff. I put in something in you that nobody can explain but me, that I can go in your reproduction system and make somebody look just like you. And then I can give you two at the same time, if I want to. Double diapers.
God is awesome.
Girl, oh my goodness. Worthy to be praised. And then he said, and you know what? I looked at, we are his people. And then he said, and the sheep of his pasture. I don't know if it's a difference between what he's saying as being people, and then because in the other chapter he said, you remember the other chapter, he said he called us people and then he called us sheep. And then I said, okay, now this is me.
Yeah.
I see that, okay, all human beings belong to God. But I wonder, is he said, let it be known that I made everybody. But when you are mine, I call you sheep.
That's exactly where I was going to go.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's it.
I don't know if God is saying that, but I don't know.
Oh, man. But he already said in the prior verse, he created us. Didn't he? What did the other verse say? The prior verse?
Oh, yeah. It is he that has made us and not, you talking about the prior verse?
Yeah, that's it. It is he that has made
that's
us.
the same verse, yeah.
And not we ourselves.
Yeah, we
didn't
do this.
Says what?
We are his
Mama,
people
we are his people. Yes.
and the
He
sheep
created
of
us.
his pasture.
So people are his. Uh-huh. And
Mhm.
then he clarified it. I love it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't just want to be existing, but I want to be, because he said, my sheep know my voice. That's where I got that from.
Yes.
I'm not
Read,
saying
read
that,
that one.
I'm
Read that
not
one more time for me. Just,
Okay.
can you read it one more time
Yeah.
for me?
know ye that the Lord, he is God. That's a commandment. It is he that has made us, get that understanding, and not us, ourselves, we ourselves, semicolon. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture.
Yeah.
And that place
Which
will be
camp
great.
you want to be in? You want to just be his people, or you want to be a sheep in his pasture?
That's what I'm talking about. And you know that time when you were telling me when I didn't understand that verse about the behemoth,
Yeah, about the mountain.
the mountain, and you was
And
telling me, I said, but how is it that they were eating on a mountain? Because I always saw a mountain being a big rock. And then you said, you know how they graze, grass on the mountain. I was like, it is. And
Yeah, I
when you
remember
showed me
that.
that means, what does pasture mean? Let's look at that real quick. I know what it means based on my understanding, but I want to see if the sheep of his pasture, I don't know what he getting ready to say. Grass or other plants growing for the feeding of grazing animals, land that is used for grazing of animals and suitable for such use. A lease was cut into a separate pasture. Okay, now. A large enclosed section of cattle ranch. I like that part. I like that part. When he said a pasture is enclosed land, that means that I got things that's mine. And you ain't gonna be eating all over the place. My pasture, enclosed by God.
That is so fun, because I was gonna say how I see pasture is like what's in the fence, because where I live is in the country and everybody got fences around their property, or most everybody. Anybody with cattle or sheep, or like we got dogs, we got horses, everybody's got their land fenced off. And so ain't nothing other than what's mine supposed to be in my fence. And if you get inside my fence, you're gonna get kicked out.
What? Out of order.
Yeah, you ain't supposed to be up in here. Or, if my dog, when I was closing the fence and they would dig out from under the gate, my neighbor text me, do you have a brown dog and a black dog? I said, yeah. I said, but they here with me. And then we were just making sure, because we know you had a brown dog and a black dog, and there's two of them running around loose. I said, no, mine at home. They where they supposed to be.
That was somebody else's dog.
Yeah, but they favored my dog by their coloration, but they wasn't my dog.
Ooh, girl, do you hear yourself?
I do.
They favored, but they wasn't none of mine. Ooh! They look like mine, but they're not mine.
Yeah, they look. But
and somebody recognized
you my past. I know you.
Good, that's some revelation right there. I know I got two dogs, and your neighbor called, and you looking at your dogs.
I'm looking at them.
You said, no, they're not mine. Look at God. I know what I know mine, and I know my sheep, and I know those are not mine.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
And the black. And she said they done got loose.
Yeah.
God's sheep are not roaming, because they know that what he serves in his garden or his pasture, they know that. Yeah. I think that sheep know God's flavor in the grass.
Oh my goodness.
I think God knows.
When you got a good home, you know it. My dogs know. They might, now these are my dogs. They'll go across the street, get in the pond, whatever, but they ain't gonna be gone long. They're gonna be back because they know when it's dinner time. They coming home. That's where they coming.
And not only that, your dogs know your voice.
Yes.
And that's why it's important to know the word of God, so you'll know what the sound. Wait, that's not God. He said, "Cause my sheep, they stay under me." They know my voice. They know if I'm not talking, they know that I'm not talking and it's still me. They know my voice. They know. That's how God wants us to be so in the word that if anybody say it, like you just said, they look like my dogs, but they're not mine. Because my dogs don't act like that. My dogs know they know my girl. They know my boy. They know he got no business crawling up under that fence trying to get to your yard. I got obedient dogs and she.
That is just amazing because they will be about to get into trouble. I don't shut the fence because I don't want them roaming. Sometimes I don't care if they, just ride around outside the fence because when I was driving, they would wait on me at the fence. And when I come home, they'll jump up to the house, but they waiting on me when I leave, go to the fence and lay down. They would just be in our driveway. But when I had the fence shut, because I wanted them inside the fence, and sometimes they would be trying to get away and I'd sing them and I'd say, Sheba, Princess. And they'll immediately, sometimes the door still be shut because I'm trying to get to them. That's how good dogs can hear. I wouldn't even have the door open yet, but I'd be calling their name because I saw them doing something I didn't want them to do and I was calling them. And they'll ears perk up and I'll call them again because they'll stop. Like, did I hear something? And I'll say, Sheba, Princess. And they'll turn around and come back to the house.
You know what I hear in that you call them with a firm call, not an abusive way, and they responded because you care. And sometimes when God has to bring correction, people feel like, oh, but not if he has to call your name twice. He's only calling you because he's trying to get you back or keep you safe from getting yourself harmed. And that's the attitude of the shepherd. Not only will he feed you, but he'll also correct you. And you got to know that the only reason why he's doing it, and your ears ought to perk up just like that dog. All right, let's go to Elaine.
Psalm 100 is
something. That's powerful. I'm almost looking at that song when we get to that 2-verse song. I don't know what that's going to say. And then he said, enter into his gates. In other words, you ain't even in there yet. You on the outside.
Yeah.
But you coming in first through the gate. He said, enter into his gate with showing gratitude, Thanksgiving. You get a chance to come into a gated community. Everybody can't come in. This is the Lord's house, the best of all houses. And it's gated. That means that I reserve the right to call this mine. So he said, enter into his gates with thanksgiving. And then, and I don't even want to move off of that, but anyway, I'm moving. And if you come in and into his dwelling place, his courts with praise. In other words, you glad that you know how
extolling his virtue. God, your wisdom. You the epitome of wisdom. You are wisdom. God, you are creator of everything. God, just extol his virtue. Talk about it.
You know what? You can't use word like that unless you've been hanging around. Because those are the things that he called himself, and for you to know that, that's who it is. And now it becomes natural for you to talk like that because you not only do you know those big words, and I extol, I'm just saying, I like it because you take words to the level that God wants them to come up a little bit higher. But you know that because when God talks about himself, he just ain't lying.
Exactly.
I am what I say I am. And he said, when you get in there, like you said, extol him. And then he said, I wrote down here, I said, enter into the entrance doors showing gratitude and enter into his dwelling place with praise, extol him and all the name. Name a few praises. Go ahead, do it again. Say some of them big words. Go ahead.
Girl, I can't do it. You got me laughing.
Talk about it.
But he's omniscient. He's omnipresent. He's omnipotent, all powerful, all knowing, everywhere at the same time. Mm-hmm. You are creator God. You are God and God alone.
That's it. Anybody else like it? Miss Elaine is in the house. I get Elaine, I'm recording, so
yes, Lord.
if you want to show your glitter, show up. All right. God lives in a gated community. I reserve the right to make my people understand that they are protected by me. I'm protected. And those angels, like Elaine was talking about last night, and she said those cherubims. So I got up this morning and I looked at them big, strong, powerful angels and said, we don't play. Don't enter into these gates unless you come in to be real. In fact, we ain't gonna even let you in. You want to come in, anybody can come. But understand that the power of the angels that God has surrounded by us, just to look at them make you want to bag. Oh, wait, what's that? What's that? And everybody can't see them. By permission, Elisha told God to let, I think that was Gehazi, because Gehazi got scared. He said, let them see the host of angels that I see. And God opened up his eyes. He said, nah, I see. So even in the community or the homeowners association, God said, I got all that. I make sure my land is clear. I make sure my yard is my well kept, my lawn. I make sure that it ain't, you gonna want to stay in my neighborhood, and you can. And I accept all people in all lands and everybody, and I don't, it's anybody, whoever want to live in my pasture, you can come live here. Elaine Randy just said something a few minutes ago. We were talking about the sheep of the pasture. And one day her neighbor told Randy, we were talking about how God encloses his pasture so his sheep know where to graze. And one day Randy's next door neighbor or neighbor noticed that it was 2 dogs in her yard. Right. She asked Randy the right question. Do you have a black and a brown dog? And Randy said, yes, I do. She said, well, in other words, the dogs that I see, I think your dog got loose. Randy said, no, they ain't none of mine. My dogs are in my yard. So what they saw was an imitation of what, or another, something that looked like, but see, God has said, I know my dogs. And Randy said, I know my dog. Those are not mine. Why? Because mine is at the house. My dogs know my pasture. My dogs know my yard. My sheep know that this is where you graze. You ain't got no business digging no hole over there in that lady yard. My dogs know better than that. But she was talking about a real situation that she had, and that she had how God has imposters. Black, yes. Brown, yes. You on that? Yes. Well, I think your dog got loose. She said, not mine. My dog's in my yard. Yeah, you could have been him. All right. And then we talked about be thankful unto him. Know that when you enter into his gates, you come in there with thanksgiving. You didn't come in there to what I'm gonna get from him and then thank him, but you came with thanksgiving. It just comes with the fact that we are in the presence of the Lord. Yeah. And the only way you can know how big God is, you got to be around him. Wow. Can't nobody tell you how big God is. You got to go see for yourself. Right. And he said, come into his gates, come in there with it. Come in here ready and understand. And we did a few more other things. Like Randy said, she said, Psalm 100 is the bomb. And into his courts with, Randy just described all kind of things about him. I heard them. They were good. Be thankful unto him and bless his name. Go out there and publish him. Talk about him. Bless him. It. Describe him to other people. Let them know anybody can come. Go in the highways and the hedges and find me somebody to fit. I got room enough. I'll never run out of space. My pastor will always be prepared for you to eat. Go get me some more people because I'm going to treat you right. Because you know it's a gate you came in, but I'm going to send you back out that gate. Go get me some more people. Talk about me. Flood the internet. Flood it. Let them know that I'm good.
Can you read it one more time? I didn't get my Bible out of my bag.
Okay.
Visiting the puppies.
Okay. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. So you coming in with an attitude of thanksgiving. Then when you get into his dwelling place, the courts, be glad to be in his presence because he wants you there. You want to be there. And it ain't no need to come before the Lord looking down for what? But I mean, if you come in there like that, the angels might make a suggestion, say, you know, you're getting ready to go before the Lord now. Because let me lay hands on you before you get in there, because you know, can't go in there like that because he, you know, fire walk in front of him. He burned things up. He said, I got fire that walk before me. It burned up I consume my enemies. So I know you're not an enemy of God, but understand this. And how do we start out our day? He said, come before the Lord with singing. And so tonight we started out our Bible class. I said, Randy, we're going to start coming before the Lord with singing. And it puts us in the attitude of a child that we are not worried about what you think of how I sound, because I'm not singing to you. I'm singing to the Father, my Father. I said, enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him and talk about his name. Bless his name. Talk about, advertise him.
Yeah.
And then the last verse is for the Lord. And I even looked up the word good. I'm telling you, I said, I'm searching what you good. I heard that, but what is good? He said, good is favored. The Lord
is
favored. That means when somebody is favored, there's not partiality or favoritism. It's that it's chosen, it's set apart. Give me some words for favor. I looked it up and I liked it. What do y'all think? God is
Fondly spoken of. Fondly spoken of.
Fondly spoken of.
And it's something that you didn't earn. You didn't do anything to get it. You had nothing to do with it.
Oh, that girl done said something.
She sure did.
With her hidden face. That girl just said, he said, I'm good and you ain't had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it.
I'm favored and you ain't had nothing to do with it.
Nope.
You didn't concoct me and put me together. I'm favored and you ain't had nothing to do with it.
I can't even brag about it because I didn't have nothing to do with it either.
Look at that. He's favored. He's favored. He's fondly spoken of. We can start off with Adam and go to Eve and go to Abel and go on down to Noah and go on down to all these people have spoken fondly about God.
Oh God. Not a one of them people had some, not one of them, not even the enemies can say something that against God. If you spoke against God, then that's because you didn't know.
Lord, I forget Job. Oh my God.
Everybody on God's on his, who's who among all people. Everybody has something good to say about it. And when we get to David, to David, and David was a man that was seeking the heart of God, running after the heart of God.
Yeah.
When we get to him, and David said, we sit here right now. The one thing, maybe David didn't write this particular psalm, but most of what has been written was about a man who got to know the Father. And David was not afraid to write down now how in the world are you going to be the king? You're running from a so-called king, Saul. And then you the king. And then when you messed up, you still had time to write about him. And then when you got back on your feet and when your kids acting crazy, you still wrote about him. And then when you left this earth, you passed on your information to your son and told him to act like you know him.
My God.
David had all that time to keep notes because God is just that good. Yes, I don't think David wasted. If he got out of line with God, he came back and got it straight and said, oh my God, have mercy on me. And all I can say is when God is favored, and like what you say, Randy? What you say about God being favored? He's what?
To be fondly spoken of.
To be fondly. Explain that word fondly so we can get that.
Fond.
whenever the name comes up, it's good memories, fun,
Yeah.
fun, uh, fondly. People, liked, easily dealt with. Everybody got something good to say about it. Nobody ever has anything bad to say. You bring up somebody's name and say, yeah, I remember him. Oh, he was so nice. He was always so helpful. Fun. It's good memories. It's pleasant. It's all the good words you can think of. Fun.
And you know what?
I think about my dad and it's good memories. It's fun memories. I just flip through the albums and laugh and smile and think about funny stuff. It's just a good time.
And you know what?
It's fun. I need to look it up. I don't have a dictionary, but fun. F-O-N-D.
I got a hint of,
Yeah.
I dealt with 12-year-olds most of my life teaching. And when I think about Jesus being 12, I can't imagine being Jesus' teacher. I can't imagine having somebody just enjoy having him in class. Always obedient, got his homework. And when I had to whoop the whole class, I whooped him because I didn't know who did it. And he sat there and said, I understand. My God. And then I had to walk about, when I whooped Jesus, because I didn't know which one of them boys back there did that. He didn't come back, and he came up to me and said, Miss Brenda, do you want a bottle of water? And not only did he bring me one bottle, he brought me a whole case of my favorite. I said, I like the Sunny. Because I know you. I see you drinking. I pay you attention. I see you always with that Dasani water. And I just thought about you. And here I am, 62 years old, still thinking about that little boy named Jesus in my class. I'm just saying.
Right, I understand what he's saying, but it's just awesome.
I have fond memories of having somebody named Jesus in my class.
Yeah.
And the last time his mama called me, she told me, she said, me and Joseph walked off and left little Jesus I said, good, you left little Jesus. And they said, yeah, I left little Jesus. And we had to walk all the way back to get him. And I looked up and she said, what? I said, Jesus, why you do this to me? He said, I got to be about my father's business. And me being his mama said, boy, I better punt it in my heart because you are amazing. In here talking to the doctors and the lawyers. And God is trying to bring all kind of people into his presence. And the last verse said, for the Lord is good.
His mercy.
And and Randy gave everything about him throughout the history and the great cloud of witnesses. They ain't had nothing but good things to say about it. Then Elaine came in and said, I'm good, and you ain't had nothing to do with it. For the Lord is good. His mercy will never run out.
No.
Everlasting.
No.
I made it to last.
Yeah.
You ain't never had to bring it back and say, this broke. He said, And his truth is going to last. It's going to be permanent. It's going to be, what I write down? His forgiveness is permanent. And his compassion will outlast anything and everybody. And is made for all people all the time. He said, my word will never wear out. I don't care what generation you're born in. My word is just as seasoned today as it would be when I tell you to own somebody go ever. He said, heaven and earth gonna pass away, but my word gonna still taste good.
No expiration date.
No expiration date. Girl, you better say it. All right, I'm gonna go back and I want to just kind of reiterate verse 1. Make a joyful noise, a happy noise unto the Lord. Let it sound like God's noise. All ye lands. And I wrote down, make an exciting noise in the city, the country, the desert, the mountain, the island, the backyard, the football field, the prison, the church, the government, the desert, the cultivated land, uncultivated, the suburb, the highways, hedges, anywhere you go, everywhere. Everybody ought to be sounding like the word of God. All right, Father, we thank you tonight for your word. We thank you that you have allowed us to see 100 numbers of Psalm, being here 100 days. And Father, may this expression of what we want to put out tonight be a pathway to let people know how good it is to come together and study your word. Oh, how good and how pleasant it is for us to come before you and get your understanding, your word. And I'm going to say, if y'all ain't got nothing else to say tonight, I'm going to say good night.
Good night. Love you
All right,
all.
love y'all. Okay,
It was awesome.
awesome.
Good night.
All right, good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.